And let's go. It's game week, y'all. I am so freaking pumped, y'all. Game week is here. No off-scene talk. None of that garbage. Thank you, Tramontes, for making this wonderful day possible. Tramontes is, of course, our title sponsor for the 2022 season and your homegating and tailgating headquarters for your LSU football fix. Guys, friend of mine, Pooh Bear of the Golden Boot podcast. If y'all haven't heard of them, they got a really cool thing going. Y'all make small podcasts great again. Go check them out. But they do, they ask a lot of good, interesting questions in these Twitter spaces. And they asked me a really good question this weekend, and one where I kind of had to, I was cutting the grass and I had to put it to the side and be like, man, I want to answer that. So it was, what would you have to see from LSU to be convinced that this is a championship team? I'm going to get to that real quick. I am going to go ahead and dive right into shouting out my sponsor, Tramonte's. Let's hear from them, and I'm going to be right back, y'all.
Tramonte's has meat. Tramonte's has seafood. Tramonte's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tramontes.com.
God, their meat is so good, y'all. Went to the meat sale this weekend, and we got all sorts of good stuff. Stocked my freezer up all football season long. Y'all go check them out because they're giving it all year long. They do catering, they do lunch deli, all that good stuff. So anyways, what does LSU have to do to convince me this is a playoff team? Well, first and foremost, Jaden Daniels has to come out looking sharp. Of course, Brian Kelly's not formally announcing his starter yet. But it's kind of the worst kept secret in college football. It's going to be Jaden Daniels, y'all. Now, how much rotation? That's what's interesting to me, y'all, is how much rotation will we see at that quarterback spot? Personally, I think if it's a tight game and you've got a quarterback who's playing well, you roll with the hot hand. If Jaden Daniels has command over this offense and team, like I expect him to, based off of what I saw at practice this weekend and the Saturday before, don't go around there playing around too much. Lead with your guy. You know what I mean? So if we see something like 18 of 25 for 250 passing, 2 touchdowns, and no very because his knock hasn't been bad decision making or anything like that. It's been accuracy on his passes. If he's looking accurate out there, watch out. Watch out if he's got command. What else am I looking for? No O-line issues. You've got your O-line is set in stone now. You got Cam Wire at right tackle, Will Campbell at your left tackle. Dellinger's going to be your center. You got Anthony Bradford, right guard, and you've got one of the best transfers in the country, Miles Frazier at left guard, after we thought he was going to be left tackle. Y'all, based on what I saw at scrimmages, this should be a good, not like a serviceable, like a good offensive line. Let's see. If there's no major running game issues, I'm not talking about, okay, Noah Cain's gassed and, they just didn't have the depth there, because that's going to get better when Emory comes. But, I'm talking about if there's lanes to run and there's no snap issues and there's no sacks or anything egregious. Like if Jaden Daniels has consistently 4 seconds to throw, or Nussmeier, whoever's back there, then that's a good sign, okay? If the D-line had trouble with the offensive line, surprisingly, this fall camp. But if they come out and they're good as advertised and Mason Smith is out there eating dude's lunch, BJ Ojolari is fierce edge rusher and all those guys, if they are as good as advertised, watch out. If Harold Perkins comes on and he looks like a freshman All-American, this linebacking core will be elite because we know what Mike Jones is going to do. We know what the depth there with Penn and all those guys who have been around, the Hound of Baskerville there. We know you've got your experience there. If all the transfers, right? Because anytime you bring in a transfer, you're talking about a guy who has a chance. Like the Jonathan Giles effect is what I'll put it. Anytime you bring in a Jonathan Giles, you're going to be dealing with a chance that this player might not be great. Just because it's a new environment, new coaching staff, new all that stuff, right? Jonathan Giles looked like a lock. They gave him the 7 jersey. They ripped that sucker right off him too and put 12 on, man. I mean, it's... You just don't know. Yeah, Joe Fouché should be great. He was, starter quality player at Arkansas last year. Brooks, all those guys should have a really strong defensive backfield. You're just relying on a lot of new faces. Bernard Converse, we're talking about a guy who's probably a first-round draft pick. A lot of people are talking about LSU having the best corners in the country, y'all. But these transfers have to play out as projected. You have to be as good as advertised for that to happen. Okay. Now I'm not even going to mention the wide receivers because I have confidence the wide receivers are going to be some ballers this year, y'all. No question in my mind. I think Neighbors and Butte are going to be the best receiving combo that Brian Kelly has had in his career. Calling it. Those two are freaks. All right. And they're going to use them in a way. Coaching. Are you able to make in-game adjustments? Are you able to keep a high pace? Are you able to adapt to what's out there? Are you able to call your system because the personnel's right? Is Mason Taylor's emergence all of a sudden give you 2 tight ends that you need to run your system? Is Denbrock going to do a good job putting athletes in space and letting them do their thing? Because that's how LSU's going to live or die this year. You got athletes. Can you use them right? Can you use them right? Is the quarterback room, is it going to look disorganized? Are they going to be shuffling guys, or are they going to have like a plan? in place. Man, we'll just have to see. If all those things line up, I'll be convinced. Because I'm going to tell you something. There's been 4 teams that I watched at LSU, and I've been convinced by the first game that this team's going to be special. I was right on 3 of them. Now, 03, I did not call that. I was a little too young. They played 3 gimme games. It is what it is. Okay. 07, 6 interceptions against Mississippi State. That defense, all they're doing, all the seniors on that team, yeah, that was gonna be a squad from the get-go, y'all. Make no doubt about it. That was gonna be a squad in 07. 2011, Badger doing what he did against Oregon. Y'all, they mopped the floor with Oregon. Yeah, I think me and everybody else in the country was like, yeah, this is a special LSU team. And I was right. It was a special LSU team. It just ran into a buzzsaw. My guest tonight, I was watching an old interview he did. He said it was one of the worst days of his life. We're, of course, bringing on Van Lathan. I'm going to let Van give me his take on this, too, in just a bit. In 2013, that was a team I was wrong about. It should have been special. I remember watching Mettenberger in that offense. Yeah, he completed 50% of his passes against TCU and won the blowout. But that offense was running, man. It was rolling. I thought that team was going to be something else, yo. They should have been something else. The fact that you had that much talent and they didn't win a championship, that's why Les Miles was booted out of here. And then the final team was a team that took me one drive against an FCS opponent to know that this was going to be incredibly special, and that was 2019. I remember my jaw dropped. The only other time in the press box my jaws dropped like that was when Leonard Fournette was throwing dudes 50 feet in the air like they were a special effect in Game of Thrones, okay? And it was just incredible to watch. It was Joe Burrow's first drive. It's like, yo, we've been watching paint dry for this team for how long? And now they're doing that? Whoo, boy. This is going to be special. I'm sure some of y'all watched the interview I did with Irish Breakdown, Brian Driscoll last week. I've heard every comment in the box about that one. What was awesome is how many people reached out to me and showed their support for what I was doing, appreciated a professional interview or whatever else. One of those people was Van Lathan Jr. So, I was excited. I talked to Van, wanted to do like a season breakdown. So without further ado, if you don't know who he is, you should know who he is. I'm going to give you a little nugget. This is all you need to know about Van here. Let's see here, hit play on this. This is where that, of course, is none other than Van Lathan Jr., Oscar winner. He won the Oscar last year for his short film. Writer, producer. Let's bring him on. Van Lathan Jr. What's up, man?
What's going on?
Van,
Is this shot working for you right now?
Let me see. It might zoom in. Yeah,
there you
let's
go.
do it like that.
Yeah,
let's
do it like that. Yeah.
Van, what don't you do?
Man, apparently I don't shut up. Shout out to Kanye. We've all had a moment, you know what I mean?
I think the whole country had a moment with you there.
Right. Apparently I don't shut up, but you know what? I don't stop loving Baton Rouge. I don't stop loving LSU football. Even though I'm in LA right now, my heart is in Baton Rouge and my mind is on the Tigers for sure.
That's right, man. That's right. From one LA to another. Are you excited for football season here?
Absolutely. Every year, I tell myself that I'm not going to. I have a friend. He lives back in Baton Rouge right now. His name is Tommy Talley, and Tommy's a good friend of mine. We've been going to LSU. It's funny because Barstool posted the Matt Moss to Skylar Green touchdown today. We were at the game. Me and Tommy were at that game, and it was a couple of years ago. We were having a down year. This is before 2019. I can't remember which year it was. It might have been one of those off years we had. And he goes, isn't it just great just to not have any expectations? Who cares what happens in the game today? We'll be better next year, whatever. That never happens. I always think that that's going to happen. And then every single play, every single way the ball could bounce, every Saturday, I'm right there living and dying with what happens with LSU. So I could say this year, hey, whatever happens is good. You know what I mean? Whatever happens, it's fine. I want to see a good product on the field, and I'm as nervous for the start of the season as ever.
It's like we don't have pressure to win until that game. You hear those 3 notes and they kick off. You want to kick everybody's ass every single year.
You just want to win, yeah, man.
Yeah. So here's my guy Pooh Bear from the Golden Boot podcast says he knows Tommy. That's his dude apparently. So shout out Tommy.
Tommy's the man. Shout out to Tommy, man. Yeah, Tommy. He has his Tommy's TV company down there, and so he's a big guy down there in Baton Rouge. So but Tommy's the guy.
Yeah. So he was the one who came up with the question this weekend that had me so fascinated. What you would have to see. I know you heard kind of the back end of what I was talking about, what I would have to see from LSU to be convinced this is a playoff team. What about you? What are you looking for? By the way, if y'all don't know, he's a producer, guys, but this is an absolute LSU guy, y'all. He could break it all down. So I'm interested to hear from him.
To say that we're a playoff team?
Playoff team, year 1. What would you have to see? Now we're gonna live in the hypothetical.
Well, let's live in a hypothetical. Okay, that's one hell of a hypothetical. A playoff team, I'd have to say. Wow, what a question. So it's probably going to start at the quarterback position. Although, look, see, here's the thing. If LSU can protect this year, and the offensive line, the starting offensive line just came out. I was a little surprised to not see Shorts there. I was a little surprised to see Cam Wire there, but
me too.
I'm sure he'll play well, but. I guess it would be along the. There's so many. To be honest with you, we're so far away from being a playoff team in my eyes. Just to be honest with you, so it's hard for me to really nail down one thing. But I would say if we could control the line of scrimmage, if I had faith that our defensive line, which is going to be great against the pass, but I want to make sure our run fits are good, and we're going to be able to stop the run. That's going to be key on Sunday. And then we can protect on the offensive line. If we can protect on the offensive line, I think either one of the quarterbacks would have success, especially with the talent that we have in the receiver room. I think the offense could be explosive if we can protect.
Are you with me that like you're not even a little bit worried about the receivers? Like I am not worried about the receivers a tiny bit.
No, not at all. I think, to be honest with you, that room is as good as any time that we've had it here at LSU since I've been watching. The overall talent in the room between Butte and Besh, those 2 guys are your stalwarts, and then obviously Neighbors, and just the entire room is fantastic. And even on Sunday, if the line can hold up, they're going to abuse the corners from Florida State, and just being that explosive would be amazing. So. I just want to make sure that we have enough time to throw the ball.
And I agree with you that, but I'm gonna tell you, Van, I've been at practice. I've seen this offensive line, and I'm also like you. One of the things you brought up about Tramonte Shorts not being out there, there's a lot of good offensive linemen that won't be on the field, and I think that's the first time we've been able to say that for a while. I think this offensive line got the better of the defensive line, who I don't think forgot how to play football. I don't think they forgot how to play football. Just watching them in the scrimmages and stuff, I just think that the offensive line is going to be one of the more improved units in the country this year. So I feel good about them. I do, and I agree with you. Trench play is where it starts, but there's also a lot of unknowns you have to hit on to make this team a playoff team. Let's see.
Secondary?
Right. Think about it. Those guys should be good. They should be.
Yeah.
You know who else should have been good was Jonathan Giles. He should have been very good.
Wow. Giles, man.
And I'm not trashing him because like he was
no. I remember it, but no. So,
but it didn't work.
Right. In the secondary, you have a lot of experience, right? You have a lot of experience, but you just don't know how it's going to be on the field. A lot of the guys back there. I like the fact that Richardson was able to make such an impression during the camp, but the reality is that's still a guy that's coming from McNeese, that's going into the SEC West. So as good as he's looked and as dedicated as he is, you can see the transformation in his body. Shout out to my friend Carter over at PHL. I watched the film study that he did on him, and I think he's going to have a good year. Carter's great. And I think he's going to have a good year, but you won't know till you're on the field, right?
Right. Absolutely. Here's another question from my guy Pooh Bear here, who's, carrying our show question wise. My dude Preston, he got a question for you though. I'm his dude, but the question's for you. What's one of your worries? Trench play, I guess.
Trench play could be a word, but really, to be honest with you, I don't really have very many worries. I think if there was one thing to be worried about, it would be about the running back room from Florida State.
No doubt.
Those guys look really good, but they're playing Duquesne. So it's not a worry. I'm more curious because I don't really think Florida State's going to be able to hurt us. But this game really isn't even about Florida State. It's about how well LSU can execute.
Right.
So I'm more interested than worried, I'd say.
Yeah, I saw a highlight of their center just absolutely demolishing poor defensive linemen for Duquesne. I'm like, good luck doing that to Mason Smith. Have fun with that. Yeah, running back's easily the spot to me. I think it's a problem, the running back spot right now. You do not have Brian Kelly has had 5 backs with 40 or more carries each of the last 5 seasons. That's not a coincidence. You know what I mean? Like that's his shtick. That's what he does. So I think that's problematic in my opinion. I'm gonna put the schedule on the screen here in just a bit. Sure. Me and Van are going through him before if he would his season prediction with me, and he was like, let's go for it, man. So I'm gonna do that, but first I'm gonna thank the people who made it possible. Van, you say you're a BR guy, okay?
I am.
All right, you ever been to Tramonte's?
I have not.
Oh man, all right. Tramonte's is located right behind Parkview Baptist off the corner of Jefferson and Airline, and honestly, man, whenever you get back in town, the best steaks, the best meats you ever get. Let's hear from them, and then we're going to jump into our schedule prediction.
Tramonte's has meat. Tramonte's has seafood. Tramonte's has much more. Tailgating and homegating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tramontes.com.
And thank you, Tramonte's, for making our 2022 season possible here at the LSU Football Fix. And look, we got the schedule up. All right, Van, guess first. Be polite, be respectful tonight. I will be. Florida State, what you got, man?
We win. Did I just see that they have deer sausage at Tramonte's?
Dude, they got 30 kinds of sausage. Any animal that breathes, I'm pretty sure they have a sausage of. And it's good. The venison sausage is awesome. No doubt. Stop by and get some deer sausage.
Florida State, we're going to win the game. We're going to win the game. We're going to win that game 28-13.
You're right where I'm at. I think 26-17. I think that both offenses are going to stutter a bit in the red zone, but they're going to get their field goals. Right. I think LSU takes care of business comfortably. It's in the Superdome. You know what that means. LSU fans going to show up. All right.
Right.
You went to Southern, is that right?
I did go to Southern. Yeah.
All right. This is the game I'm most excited for this season.
All right.
Bruh, do you know how lit that human jukebox is gonna be, man?
It's gonna be nuts.
The band's gonna humiliate LSU's bands. No doubt. But who are you rooting for? Where's your allegiance, Van?
My father went to Southern. My mother went to LSU. My allegiance is to Baton Rouge in this game. LSU's going to win the game, but to be honest with you, this game is a victory for both teams. This game is a victory for the city of Baton Rouge. It's going to be one of the biggest parties. The North Baton Rouge and South Baton Rouge getting together. So LSU's going to win the football game, but we all win culturally. You know what I mean?
Dude, you said it the best. Baton Rouge is the ones who wins. It's good for the economy, good for Southern program exposure. LSU's going to take care of business, no doubt. This is not going to be a close game, but I'm still staying the whole time, man. I'm so hyped about this game,
man.
Football Utopia, shout out for the super chat minus the chat. Appreciate you for supporting our show tonight. All right, Mississippi State, Will Rogers with Mike Leach. What you think, Van?
This is the game that I am the most interested in. A lot of the national people have been so high on Mississippi State. Obviously, the air raid is going to be tough. This is going to test our defense. We are going to win this football game. This one, though, will be the day that the LSU offense actually wakes up. Butte will have a gigantic day against Mississippi State. And I think we win this game 35-31.
I think LSU takes their first loss at this one. I can't ignore how
Interesting.
much talent Mississippi State brings back. They bring about 20 starters back. Will Rogers, of course, we all know, like, he was one of the most prolific passers in the country. I think he's going to be a dark horse for the Heisman. I really do.
Mhm.
I don't think he's going to
Wow.
like be a finalist there. I think he's going to just get some buzz and be
Mhm.
talked about a lot because he's going to put up those numbers. We're going to be talking
Sure.
about close to like a 4,500 yard season. I mean, he's going to get his volume. They're just going to lose games because that's what Mike Leach does. He loses at least 4 games and a few he shouldn't. But I think
Yeah.
Mississippi State takes this one on this day. I think LSU is just going to be, too many faces, too much to overcome. I do think LSU puts up points. I just think that Mississippi State takes care of business on this day. And that's that. New Mexico. Nothing surprising there, right?
No, we win.
Yeah, New Mexico's. Shout out to my buddy Dylan Farrell, who played, my old teammate, who played for New Mexico and went on to the NFL out of there. But no, man, sorry, no love for you tonight, Dylan. New Mexico, LSU's going to take care of business. At Auburn, TJ Finley won the starting job.
Very
Does
happy
TJ
for the
get a
kid. I saw
job?
that.
Yeah,
No,
I'm happy
TJ's
for him too.
TJ's not going to get it done. This is step one to the Brian Harsin exit plan. We're going to win this football game. I'm very happy for TJ, but LSU's going to win this football game. Yeah.
No, I agree. I'm happy for TJ too. I think he's still going to be doing his growing pains. We've seen what he does. Very talented. I mean, absurdly talented, like Jamarcus Russell type arm and athleticism. But I do think LSU takes care of business, and I don't think it's particularly close. I think no one, including the athletic director, even wants Brian Harsin there. I think that they're not going to give him the support and all that good stuff. All right, Tennessee. This is interesting. Hendon Hooker, about the momentum they've got going. This is at LSU, though. What happens there?
This is a loss. I'm bullish on Tennessee this year.
You love Hendon Hooker?
I think Hendon Hooker's going to have a gigantic, huge season. I believe in Hendon Hooker. I believe Hendon Hooker's going to be in a place that you say Will Rogers is going to be in. They're going to have a big season. I don't know if they're going to be able to stop anybody. I don't know if they're going to be able to stop LSU, but I don't think that we're going to. I think by this time we'll know kind of what it is. I have another prediction for you. Would you like a prediction here?
Please, go ahead.
I think Garrett Nussmeier is going to start this game.
Ooh. Oh man, you think it's gonna be that shaky, huh?
I think I'll be honest with you. I think Garrett Nussmeier is going to start this game. I think by the time we get here, I think Garrett Nussmeier is going to start this game because in my opinion, the better the offensive line plays, the higher the likelihood that you see a lot of Garrett Nussmeier.
That's very interesting. Look, I love what I see out of Nussmeier. I mean, I just rewatched that touchdown he had against Arkansas, and it was the most impressive throw I've seen since Joe Burrow. It was insane. He oozes talent. He's still a freshman. Everybody just settle down. He is a redshirt freshman.
I love him.
He's so fun to watch, y'all.
Yeah.
No, right. And I think Nussmeier brings something special to the table with his arm. And I think if Jaden Daniels can't get it done with his arm, that's a guy you turn to because you can't let Malik Neighbors, you can't let Jack Besh, you can't let Keyshawn Butte not get the ball because Jaden Daniels is struggling with accuracy like he did in the spring game and like he did at times with Arizona State. That being said, what I've seen in practice, I hadn't seen that. It doesn't, like, if you watch him in shorts and throwing the ball around, both the other two quarterbacks, it looks prettier. But Jaden Daniels gets the job done, and he's an elite athlete. I think Jaden Daniels holds the job down all year. That's what I'm thinking.
Interesting. All right.
And I think Jaden Daniels gets it done against Tennessee with Brian Kelly's first signature win. With Tennessee in Baton Rouge. I think it's going to be a big coming out party. I think Tigers get it done, y'all. I do. I think that this is going to be the one where Brian Kelly, says, hey, I can show up to games, I can win. And watch out. LSU takes it. So we've both got LSU at 5-1.
Yeah.
at the halfway through the season. Some hype's going to start coming. All right, Van, I've got another
pretty soon though.
Yeah, no doubt. It's not the first half of the schedule that's your problem. It's not your first half. It's the back half. I mean,
right.
But I do have to pay a couple more bills around here. All right,
sure.
Test 2, be our guy, right? Do you remember? All right, when did you move away from Baton Rouge? What year?
2006.
Okay, all right, here we go. Do you remember Oak Cinema 8?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right there off of what is that road there? Jones Creek and George O'Neill. It's now Celebrity Theaters, and they're sponsoring my show. So thank you, Celebrity Theaters. I don't know, like, hold up. Let me be just to show you. This is not part of the sponsorship tonight. Let's see. Do I have a picture of them right here? Yeah, here we go. You can see their Baton Rouge location there. That doesn't look anything like it did. It is fresh, renovated, super nice now. So they're doing something cool, and this is part of the sponsorship. That was freebie, but I'm gonna put this right on top of everything right in the middle because they had to send me some graphic like that, but that's okay. Y'all, they're doing a watch party, and it's free for the LSU game. So y'all pop in and check them out. It's literally, you get to watch in their Lazy Boy recliners. Cool. They have drinks there, frozen daiquiris that are literally $1 more than the sodas. It's awesome. All LSU games beginning this year on Sunday at their Baton Rouge location will be broadcasted there. Doors open 1 hour prior to kickoff each week. They'll have drink and concession specials. Admission's free, y'all. You can't beat that. You can set up an event for it by emailing events@celebritytheaters.com. I personally find the concept of doing like a watch party at a movie theater with not like one of those old school movie theaters like Oak Cinema 8 where you had the, the chair, like, you're sitting there. Bro, you're in a lazy boy. I don't go to the theaters unless you get a lazy boy anymore. I just don't. Like, I'm too spoiled.
I'm going to check that place out. And then it's so awesome that they have one in Ruston because I did a year at Louisiana Tech. And there was nothing to do there. So shout out to all the kids. And
they had nothing in Rusted.
Right. All the kids there check out Celebrity Theaters now. Shout out to them, man.
Yeah. Well, fun story. I came pretty close to walking on at Louisiana Tech way back in the gap. But I ended up just not playing football. I wasn't very good. But I remember going to Ruston and like, dude, there is nothing here. Coach Dykes, I love you, but dog, this is in the middle of nowhere. There's an Applebee's. That's like our post-game celebration is the Applebee's, dog. What's going on here? All right, let's get back into it. Let's
sure.
So coming off of Tennessee, going to the Swamp, Billy Napier. Few people wanted Napier as LSU's coach. I was told on my show last week that Napier passed up LSU like that was supposed to be truthful or something. Not at all. Come on, man. Billy Napier would have walked for that job. What you think?
True. We're gonna win. So I'll know a lot more about this game after I see Florida play Utah. But we're gonna win. We're gonna win this game. We're gonna beat Florida here. Look, a lot of people think that I'm chalking up a lot of W's here. It's gonna get tougher here in a second. But we're gonna beat Florida. I personally think that Napier is a fantastic coach. Fantastic coach. I don't think there's as much. Richardson's a great player. You gotta see what he's got this year, but I don't think there's as much talent as at Florida right now as there will be in the coming years. So I think we still have a good roster there.
Yeah. I look at Florida. By the way, hold up before I move on. I gotta throw this one up here. This is the best comment of the night. LSU wins the game. Southern wins the party.
Yeah, that's true. Undefeated in the parties on the yard.
No doubt. No doubt. Here's my guy, Ant Marshall, who's part of the Gold Boot podcast. He's a good guy. Preston Rusted has grown a lot. Carl Malone put a lot of money in that town. That's what I've heard, actually. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Anyways, I think if you look at Florida, Florida's just kind of like the poor man's LSU in a lot of ways. New coach, tons of players in and out. They're breaking in Anthony Richardson, who I have less faith in either of the guys for LSU. I mean, his passing.
Really?
His passing. Obviously, as an athlete, he's one of the best in the country, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we're still talking about, LSU is going to be rolling out a fourth-year player. I mean, 27 games started versus 0 for Anthony Richardson. Yeah, I and not to mention Anthony Richardson was kind of all over the passing last year. I know he made some good throws, but he also made some god awful throws. I personally like what LSU brings into that game. I think they got a better coach. They had a better recruiting class, better transfer portal. I think LSU takes that one. Moving on to 6-1. Lane Kiffin. The LSU other coach bowl starts. The streak of other coaches people should have hired. Luke Altmaier, the Knox guy from US, or Jackson Dart. I'm sorry, I was about to call him Knox. That's Lane Kiffin's son's name. But Jackson Dart. They hadn't really named a starter yet, but Luke Altmaier is a kid I like a lot. What do you think Ole Miss is going to do?
So I think that Jackson Dart will get the job. I think they were expecting Jackson Dart to take the job, which I don't think happened down there, but I think he will get the job. LSU is going to beat Ole Miss. I think that Ole Miss's roster is just really going to miss Matt Corral. They're really going to miss having a QB like that who can be the ultimate trigger man, and having somebody that's even a fraction less talented with some of the other departures that they had and some of the other weaknesses that they have on their team. I think this is a very winnable game for LSU. I think Ole Miss is probably a 7-5 team this year.
I agree, and I think that's about where Ole Miss is. They're just, turning out a lot, and the fact that Jackson Dart didn't take the job, like you're saying, speaks a lot of volumes. Luke Altmaier, I mean, he had doing ugly pick six against Baylor in the Sugar Bowl last year, and he showed some moments, but he isn't. He's still a redshirt freshman. You shouldn't expect him to be taking that position from a veteran like Jackson Dart. That to me tells me there's some concerns. LSU takes it. So we've both got LSU at 7.
I will say something about the Ole Miss game though. We have to stop the run because they have one of the best backs, in the conference. So they're gonna Zach Evans. We're gonna have to stop them. We're gonna have to stop the run against them. But no, we're gonna win the game. I just wanted to say that.
Zach Evans is good. He is a wild story to follow. I remember covering him in recruiting, and man, he was all over the place. But yeah, no, he has the talent, no doubt. You're gonna have to stop that. I just think LSU's defense is gonna be in a position where they can handle guys like that. You're gonna have to beat this defense passing, is my opinion. I just think that D line's gonna be too good. I expect Harold Perkins by this time of the year is gonna be a monster, and we all know what Mike Jones can do. I think the front seven. I think the defense is gonna be rock solid for LSU this year. I really do. All right, at Arkansas. You ever seen a coach that kind of fits his mascot quite as well as Sam Pittman? I mean, he just is such a fit for Arkansas. What you think in that game?
The Dwight McLaughlin Bowl.
Yeah, the traded DBs Bowl. Yeah,
the traded DBs Bowl.
The Fouché Bowl. The Greg Brooks Bowl. Yeah,
we're gonna lose this game. This is the second loss of the season. Did we skip the Alabama game?
Oh, yeah, we sure did skip the Alabama game. Okay, well, we're going to talk Arkansas first because my dyslexia got the best of me there. But yeah, losing Arkansas, go ahead.
We're going to drop 2 in a row. We're going to lose to Bama, and then we're going to lose to Arkansas as well, because I think that the Arkansas game, like especially coming after the Alabama game, Arkansas is a sneaky good roster. They're a powerful team. I think, they have one of the toughest schedules in the entire country, so I don't think their record is going to be gaudy. But I think this is about the point in the season to where attrition is going to start to set in a little bit, and that's going to be a hard game to win.
All right, so it's LSU. Does LSU make it interesting against Bama?
No. We compete. All right, we compete. And here's the most important thing about the Bama game. This is going to be the game to me that is the greatest testament to what kind of coach Brian Kelly is. I want to see a disciplined, engaged team that's fighting. Okay, because it's going to be a very short amount of time to where our roster is going to be able to compete with their roster. With what we're doing in recruiting and what I anticipate we will continue to do in recruiting, we're going to have it there. I want to see guys in the places that they're supposed to be and really tearing up every last blade of grass in Tuscaloosa that they can. Having said that, we'll probably lose by 17 points.
I agree with you. I think Alabama's one of the better teams in the country on paper right now, off paper, everywhere. Probably they're probably going to win the national title by a lot. Bryce Young, I thought, was one of the worst Heisman winners last year. That's not an insult. We still are calling him a Heisman winner and deserving Heisman winner, but one of the worst ones. I think he's going to be better this year. I don't know if we win the Heisman again, just because we all know that's statistically improbable, right? But I do think he's going to be better this year. Like, remember, Matt Leinart was better in his year after winning the Heisman, but Reggie Bush still took that thing. I think Will Anderson's going to split some votes with him. I really do.
Oh, you think Will Anderson makes it to New York this year?
I don't know if he makes it to New York, but I do know he takes votes away from Bryce Young. You know what I mean? Those guys who are going to be voting. I mean, there's going to be people who realize that Will Anderson's the better player. And just because he plays defense, you know, and those are all going to be guys in that geographic region. I think maybe Bryce Young doesn't win, but I do think he's better this year. I think Bama's going to smack a lot of people around. LSU is no exception to that rule. I think LSU looks respectable in that game. I just don't think even in Tiger Stadium, I think about 17 or so, maybe 15, maybe 14, something like that. I think Bama runs away with it. I think they look good for about 3 quarters, and just Bryce Young just is going to make too many plays. You know, those receivers are so good. They're just going to run away with it. Arkansas, I also think LSU loses to Arkansas. I think KJ Jefferson's good. It's at Arkansas. That's tough. Sam Pittman's got that direction moving in the right direction. Like you said, they have a tough schedule. They're going to be highly motivated to get some wins. They care much more about that boot than LSU does. They care much more about that gold boot than either of us do. Right. I think this is a good Arkansas team this year. So what's unfortunate about this break is now the whole, big game Brian conversation comes up again. Can he win the big game? Blah, 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 blah. Like it's year one. UAB. I mean,
to be honest with you, all of these games are big games for Brian Kelly right now. I think Brian Kelly is going to come to a situation, he's going to walk into a situation where Notre Dame had a couple of big games a year, every single game here in Baton Rouge, and as the coach of the LSU Tigers is going to be a big game. So we're going to know pretty soon whether or not Brian Kelly has his players ready to play. But UAB, yes.
UAB, what you got? You think UAB pulls the upset again?
No.
That only happens when you're coached by the greatest coach of all time at LSU.
No, we're going to beat UAB. What's the country singer that used to be a quarterback for UAB? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh man, dude, you're digging up references. Maybe someone in the chat can help us out. I don't
Sam Hunt.
know.
Is there a country singer named Sam Hunt? Guy's named Sam Hunt. Anyway,
dude, I'm so out of my element with country music, man.
I'm serious. But yeah, we're gonna beat UAB. We're gonna
take care of business.
It's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be good to get a relief and let your starter prepare, because you got a big matchup next week on the road in College Station against Texas 8-4. I mean, 8-M. What you got in that one, Van?
We're going to win. So we're going to win this game. Here's the thing. Maybe we will lose, but I'll never, ever, 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 ever. When I see LSU versus Texas A&M on the field, I just go, we're going to win. Even the game that was like 1,000 to 1,000, I am still shocked that we lost that game.
Well, LSU did win it like 7 times. They just lost it once.
We just beat Texas A&M. Johnny Manziel was a magician. He was a ghost on the field to everywhere else. And we played a basic cover and beat them every time. We just out-athleted them every time we played them. We're going to beat them. They're going to have a good team, even better next year. They recruited more 5-stars in the whole Big Ten. It's going to happen for Texas A&M, but not this year.
Going into this game, oh, by the way, thank BK Takeover. Sam Hunt was their quarterback 06 to 07. So look at you dropping some UAB bombs here. Okay, we're both having them 8-3 going into this game. I think Texas A&M beats them. Okay, and here's why. I think A&M. A lot of people have that joke. They're laughing at them. I compare it to a lot of like what Clemsoning was before Clemson got their thing rolling with Dabo. It's been weird. In 5 seasons, they haven't been able to get a quarterback. It was Kellen Mond and what was the kid last year who just got beat out at Auburn. But anyways, it was that kid. And neither one of them could get the job done, right? And now you've got Max Johnson, who just got beat out by Haynes King, which means Haynes King is better than Max Johnson. And Max Johnson threw 27 touchdowns at LSU. Yeah, he had some flaws. He's a sophomore, but LSU was a wreck in general last year. So I guess that means Haynes King is going to be doing some pretty good stuff. I don't think Texas A&M is a joke. I think 10 wins is the floor. That's my opinion.
For
and if
Texas,
I'm wrong,
10,
yeah,
Preston,
I think 10 wins. I think 10 and 2. Yeah. I think
Okay.
10 wins. I don't think they're a joke. They just brought in a serious recruiting class. And if I'm wrong, I'll come back on this show and celebrate with all of y'all that I am wrong. I'll be hype. But
So-
for now, I'm just being objective. I think Texas A&M's a solid team. Do I think they're Bama? No. I think they're going to be like 10 and 2, 11 and 1-ish, something like that. And, you know, saying they got screwed by something, and, you know, they'll be happy with the Sugar Bowl.
I love Max Johnson. I love all the players that play for LSU. When these guys leave and go to other schools, I don't begrudge them or hold any grudges besides Eli Ricks. But like it last year being in the Rose Bowl when LSU played UCLA, first of all, I'm in the Rose Bowl and I see Trey Palmer come wide open over and Max just missed him. And I'm like, so Max has Max is a good player. He has a lot of work to do to be the quarterback of a winning quarterback at an SC West school. I personally think. That's nothing against Max Johnson, but I think Texas A&M is coming. You just can't recruit like they've been recruiting and just not have it happen. I just don't know if it happens this season.
You just got to keep those players on campus, and that's harder to do than ever. But I think that recruiting class they just brought in is no joke, like at all. Like that is a seriously good recruiting class. Watch out for Texas A&M. Those guys are going to come in and have an immediate impact. Watch out. So I've got LSU to 8-4, but I feel like it's fair to say that that's an impressive 8-4 in my opinion. And I think that means that Brian Kelly did a very good job. You've got him at 9-3. So we're pretty close there. I think LSU, we're gonna have some highs, gonna have some lows. So I appreciate you for coming on and giving an in-depth breakdown and showing off, flexing all the LSU information here. Van, before I get you off here, man, why I don't exactly know. You've got so much going on. What do I plug first here? So you got your podcast, your book. Why don't you tell the people what you got going on?
I got a lot of stuff going on. I don't want to plug any of that stuff because it's about LSU football. I want to say something to you. This is what I want to say to you. Preston handled himself like a true gentleman against an aggressive Notre Dame guy. And you guys have to remember, when you're hosting a show, a lot of times it's not about grandstanding. And it's not about peacocking against somebody. You have a guest on your show. The guy comes on. You don't want to always meet his energy. I want to give you props for maintaining your cool, maintaining your head, and still like giving us a great show and not let it devolve into a back and forth pissing contest with some guy from up north. So I just want to give you your props and make sure that you handled that the right way, G.
Wow. Thank you, Van. I don't think I've ever heard anybody turn down a plug to give a shout out instead, man. I appreciate it. Y'all, that has been Van Lathan Jr. I appreciate you so much for popping in and your nice words.
No problem, my man. No problem.
All right,
bro.
take it easy, bud. Later. That was Van Lathan Jr. Some very kind words after y'all know last week was an interesting show. I can't agree more here, man. That guy was awesome. Very knowledgeable, great guy, great promoter of LSU. He's in LA doing his thing. I'm going to take a minute to thank DeadSoxy for making my show possible this year. Of course, they have their LSU collection. They have their Saints collection here. And they have their Mardi Gras colors, y'all. So y'all go check it out. Got the link in the show here. Make sure you use your code TigerBait. TigerBait gets you 25% all orders. They're ready for football season. Celebrate the return of your favorite pastimes. They're giving you an opportunity to score a free pair. When you go on, there's going to be a pop-up that pops up. Sign up, get your email in there, and you'll get an opportunity to receive information about exclusive promotions and chances to win those free socks. Don't forget to visit the Team Colorways page and choose color combination you are looking for to celebrate your favorite team. Promo code TigerBait to receive 25% off your order. Remember, if they have another promo code going on, still put in TigerBait, y'all, because you're going to get whatever promo that was, and you're going to get that, and you're going to show them that that our show is being supportive. Our show is successful in promoting their stuff, and their sponsorship is worth their money. So make sure y'all put in that promo code. Oh, shut up, Pooh Bear. Yeah, man. It's been an emotional week, y'all. I mean, it really has. But Van's the guy, man. I appreciate him. Absolute class act. I appreciate y'all as always. You know, whenever you get your face out there enough, the spotlight has its ups and it has its downs. And I know a lot of people wanted me to beat the drum with that guy. It's just not my style. I'm sorry if that's what you were looking for. Maybe that's what I should have. But I'll tell you what, guys. I appreciate y'all. Remember to hit subscribe, that bell. We're going to be doing our show every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Your LSU Football Fix. We're going to have Mike's show on tomorrow night with Buddy Sanji at TigerBait.com. We got plenty of good footage from practice this weekend. We've got lots of good content. Brian writing about Brian Kelly, bringing us back to the golden era, possibly. I'll be doing my game stories. And, of course, we're doing our post-game show from the car next week. We'll be driving home from the Superdome as we leave that cold-ass press box. Last time we were there, LSU won a natty. So I'm excited to get all those vibes back and relive the greatest season ever as we go back into the same building where Joe Burrow claimed GOAT status along with the 2019 Tigers. Thank y'all for watching your LSU Football Fix. I'll be back next week.